The American Family and Community Rebuilding Act. It is the dawning of a new day in America. AFCRA. Reinventing Social Security for the next generations. So let's now look at the break-even point under the AFCRA plan of $412,000 of income annually. Keep in mind the maximum amount Social Security will get from wage earners in 2019 is $17,162. At the break-even point of $412,000 annually, Social Security would get $17,139 from them, a gain of $23. Now to a person with a $1 million income, they would see their Social Security taxes go from $17,162 annually to $41,600 annually, an annual increase of $24,438. Now for the $10 million athlete or CEO, whose current Social Security tax burden will go from $17,162 annually to $416,000 annually, a $398,838 increase. But what about those people making a lot of money? The $1 million wage earner or the $10 million athlete or CEO? Why would they buy into this program and be willing to pay more? Well, let's start with this, and I'm not pointing a finger of blame at them, but they were only on the receiving end of the 1983 Social Security reform legislation recipe that had millions of working Americans overpaying their Social Security taxes by billions of dollars annually, $181 billion in 1 year alone, and those retirement dollar overpayments were being used to pay for general revenue fund debt obligation, normally paid for with the income and corporate taxes of the more fortunate. In effect, the retirement dollars from millions of working Americans ended up keeping the income and corporate tax rates of the more fortunate artificially low. Now consider this: the AFCRA plan and the debt it reduces and or eliminates, starting with the $2.85 trillion of government-issued special obligation bond debt held by the Social Security Trust Fund and owed to it by the General Revenue Fund. Then consider the trillions of dollars in unfunded Social Security future liability AFCRA completely erases. All this debt over a period of time. It is AFCRA, reinventing Social Security for our children and grandchildren. So how are local SIPs and ICRAs insured? And how is it done? Well, glad you ask. Remember those government-issued debt instruments known as special obligation bonds or SOBs us taxpayers receive when the current recipe transfers our Social Security retirement dollars to the General Revenue Fund? You remember that, right? Well, those SOBs now held by the Social Security Trust Fund total over $2.85 trillion. And it's those government debt instruments that are used as an insurance policy protecting against catastrophic losses in the local SIPs and ICRAs. Now think declining term life insurance. As the local SIPs and ICRAs grow in value, the need for the government-issued insurance policy diminishes. And over time, the entire $2.85 trillion in special obligation bond debt is wiped out. Think declining term life insurance. $2.85 trillion of government-issued debt bonds gone, completely wiped out. It is AFCRA, reinventing Social Security for future generations. Uncle Sam says, are you beginning to like the AFCRA plan? If so, join your fellow patriots and add your name to the Real Joe Army map found at www.realjoearmy.com. AFCRA, reinventing Social Security for our children and grandchildren. www.realjoearmy.com. Add your name to the national map.